Jesus said, I'm the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will live, even though he dies. And whoever lives and believes in me will never die. Do you believe this? That's the question. So when we get to this point in our lives and we say, if God can do something to stop this, then why didn't he? Our answer is God only does miracles so that we will believe and God will be glorified. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't ask for them to happen now. We don't just get miracles later. I get miracles all the time. And so do you. And then sometimes I don't get miracles, and neither do you, because God is glorified through that. Spend a few minutes with Pastor Lonnie, our pastoral care pastor, who's in a wheelchair for the last 30 plus years. Who was in a car accident, and I'm telling you, I've prayed for healing for Lonnie. Some of you have prayed for healing for Lonnie. He's been to people who have the gift of healing to pray for him. He's been to all the doctors. We keep thinking that one day he's going to stand up and walk, and he's going to be healed. And it's going to be incredible. But if you ask Lonnie, I think by this point in his life, he would say, and he has said this publicly, it's okay if that doesn't happen, because God is glorified through this wheelchair. And you know that's true. So the only reason Jesus does miracles is so that God will be glorified and our faith will be greater. So sometimes he says no to the thing now. You're probably not going to have Jesus show up at your loved one's funeral and say, hey, dig that up and let's open the casket and bring him back. But he still overcomes death with life. No sickness ends in death. I mean, think about it this way. What's the most important thing Jesus says in John 11? Is that Lazarus come out? I mean, that was the big moment, right? Mummy guy walks out, Lazarus walks out, and the Bible tells us that he was a believer and he walked with him, again as a believer in that beginning of Christianity, and tons of people believe because hey, that's Lazarus. He's the dead guy, right? That's a pretty good way to get your church started, right? If we were going to plant a new campus in New Lenox, so let's see if we can get a resurrected guy to show up there every once in a while. I think Richie could fill the place up, right? That's why he did that miracle. But the most important words that Jesus said were not Lazarus come out. It was everybody can come out. I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will not live. You see, the problem with the Lazarus come out part, a problem with the miracle in this story, is that it doesn't get to happen to everybody else. And God does what he does for a reason, but the problem, and I'm saying that's probably not the right term, but the problem with Lazarus come out is that Lazarus still had to be put back in. Do you see? Lazarus is still going to die because this is still a fallen world. You don't see him walking around, well, there goes Lazarus. That guy won't die. He's unbelievable. He's the Cal Ripken of life. He's unbelievable. No. He still died. As a matter of fact, if you put yourself in the perspective of Lazarus, don't you think Lazarus absolutely hated this miracle? Don't you think he was just walking around just thinking, man, when can I die again? I can't wait for this to happen, because he knew what the other side was like.